Hello and welcome back to the MMA India Show. We have a really amazing episode for you today. While the UFC is on a break, Bellator has some really cool fights happening this weekend and the next. We have John Wayne Parr, the Australian Muay Thai legend, who spoke to Akhilesh. And he's just joined Bellator Kickboxing and he's going to be fighting at Bellator 176. So we have that interview for you first. Then we have Vicky Kapoor, who is the International Ultimate Krav Maga Federation in India head coach and also the chairman. He has been a very big influence on the Krav Maga scene in India, and we were fortunate to have him here and chat with him. And then we have Emmanuel Sanchez and Marco Galvao, who are fighting each other in the featherweight division at Bellator 175. So we chatted with both of them separately. So you will be hearing that as well. Enjoy.
Hey John, how are you?
Good morning. How's it going?
Everything's good. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm going amazing. I'm very excited. I only have 10 more sleeps here in Australia, and then I leave on Saturday, my Saturday. So I'm very pumped.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Sir.
Yeah, I can hear you now. So you're in Australia right now, is it?
I'm on the Gold Coast, Australia. So I live near the beach.
Right. So when are you leaving for Italy then?
2 more days. Today's Thursday here in Australia. So
Right.
I arrived Sunday night, and that'll give me a full week to prepare and get in the time zone difference.
All right. So John, this is something that I wanted to ask you as well since you're in Australia. You follow cricket, right?
I don't really like cricket, no.
All right. Because I just wanted to get your thoughts on the recent series. But
Yeah, it's big here, but cricket's not.
all right. So firstly, John, you're a legend in the sport and have achieved everything there is to achieve. So, firstly, I want to ask you, what made you sign with Bellator Kickboxing at this stage in your career?
Just, even though I'm 40 years old, and I've had a lot of fights, I just still love the sport. I love walking out in front of the big crowds. I love fighting in the big shows. And right now, Bellator is probably one of the biggest promotions in the world when it comes to striking. I believe
Right.
their last show in Italy had close to 15,000 people. So to walk out in front of a massive crowd like that, it really gets the hairs on the back of your neck standing up to make you, the adrenaline, you can't beat it.
All right, wonderful. And there is something else that I wanted to talk to you about, especially because you've traveled and competed all over the world. You know about Jordan Grove, who recently lost his life while cutting weight. So can you shed some light on how you do it safely, considering there are a lot of kickboxers, even in India, who do not know the nuances of cutting weight?
Yeah, that's very sad. I got to meet Jordan last December and got to watch him fight live in Melbourne. He was a great young man, and it's such a shame for the martial arts community for something so tragic to happen. And I have really no solution to what you should do for the weight cutting. People just have to learn to cut their weight earlier in their fight camp. And not wait for the last minute to try and drop those last few kilos. It's difficult, but you have to look after your body.
Right. So now, since you've been in the business for over 20 years, and you, as you said, you yourself are 40 years old. So going through all of those things, going through the fights, through the age, is weight cutting different for you from what it was, say, 10, 15 years ago?
I'm not the same. It's the same adrenaline. It's the same excitement. Just having the challenge of a new opponent and a new fighting style. But it's the same buzz. It's been the same buzz since I was 11 years old. I feed off the sleepless nights of the enthusiasm of walking out in front of those big crowds and hopefully scoring a knockout. So if you could bottle the feeling it is to knock somebody out. You could make a lot of money, but the only way you can achieve it is by getting in the ring and actually doing it.
All right. And you started your own gym in Australia nearly 20 years ago. So can you also tell us a little bit about it as well?
Yeah, owning a gym, yeah, it's fun. I get to mold guys that are coming into the gym for the very first time that have never trained in their life, and eventually, hopefully, turn them into fighters and watching them compete and to win trophies and belts for themselves. It's very, very pleasing to see them live the same dream that I'm living now.
Right. And you're going to face a dangerous kickboxer in Calcutta. So what are your thoughts about your opponent first? And secondly, as you said, you'll be fighting in front of a big crowd in Italy. And the last time you fought in Italy in a kickboxing fight was, I guess, in 2004, if I remember correctly. So, what's going through your mind now that, you're competing, as you said, for one of the biggest promotions in the world and you're going to fight a dangerous opponent?
Yeah, the dangerous opponents, okay, it's normal. I've been fighting dangerous opponents for the last 25 years. Yeah, so I'm not worried about that. I'm just making sure that I'm fit and I'm strong. My defenses are good, and I put on a show. So it doesn't matter how bad I get hurt. I want to make sure that I entertain the crowd to make sure that they remember who I am.
All right, and you've also previously expressed interest in trying out MMA. In fact, I remember seeing you in Australia during one of the MMA events back in 2015. So have you ever seriously considered becoming an MMA fighter till now?
Yeah, I have a new promotion in Australia. It's called Cage Muay Thai.
Right.
I've taken the cage concept and but made it only Muay Thai rules. So it's still MMA bumps in the cage, but as soon as you go to the ground, the fight stops, you stand back up, and then the fight starts again. So it's very fast, and it's very violent, and it's very fun.
All right. And you've been in the sport for a long time, and there was a period in between where you went into retirement. So I wanted to also ask you about the retirement itself, and if it was difficult for you to watch these guys in the ring from the outside. So just what went through your mind then, and can you also tell us about the reasons you came out of retirement?
Yeah, retiring's hard. I tried to retire about 5 years ago. I lasted about 6 months, and my life didn't feel complete unless I was training and fighting, so I had to come back again. And since I've come back, I've been on this very exciting journey of fighting in a few different countries, and it makes me happy that I decided to keep going, because I'd hate to be stuck doing a job that I hate, where going to training every day is nothing lethal.
Okay. And also, as you said, you've been involved in many wars against the likes of, Mike Zandis and Fatak. So, can you tell us what your favorite fighter is so far in your career?
Who do I like watching?
Okay, can you tell us what your favorite fighter is so far in your career?
My favorite fight, yeah, definitely Zambides. Knocking Zambides out in the first round was definitely my favorite. We had a bit of the first two fights were very close, and then there was a lot of animosity in the third fight. So to get the first round knockout, it was very pleasing. And then even though there was a bit of a grudge match between me and Mike back then, it's all over now. I think he was a great champion. He put out the destiny. He made me train hard. So it was fun to chat around with him.
All right. Can you also tell us, when did you start your discussions? Because obviously you signed with Bellator Kickboxing last year, but when did the discussions start between both the parties?
About October last year. So I was just waiting to get information on when I did to use me for the first time. So I made sure I had nothing booked early in the year. They asked me if I'd like the opportunity to come to Italy, and I grabbed it with both hands. I'm very excited to get over there. I fought in Italy back in 2005, so 2004.
Right.
So it's been a long time since I've been there, so I'm excited to get back again and reintroduce myself to the team.
Right, and can you also tell us about, because I asked you this some time ago, fighting in front of such a big crowd, obviously it makes a difference for you as a fighter, coming back and fighting for Bellator kickboxing in front of a big crowd. So what do you expect going into the fight? Do you have any certain expectations? What do you see happening during the fight?
Maybe a lot of booing when I get to the ring. Just because I'm fighting a gentleman from Italy, so of course they're going to cheer for their own guy. But hopefully, like I do with other countries, if you can fight hard and fight exciting, a lot of the times the fans will change halfway through the fight and then they start cheering for the bad guy.
Right.
I can make my mark and have, by the end of the fight, have them cheering for me, then I know that my job's done.
All right. And, also can you tell us about your contract with Bellator Kickboxing and the number of fights you have signed up for?
I had 3. So this will be my first fight, and then hopefully 2 more this year. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. I know they have a big show in June at Madison Square Garden, but I'm not sure if they're doing a kickboxing or not. So, but if they are, I would love to get on that card.
All right, perfect. And, the other thing is, as you said, you're 40 years old now. So for how long do you see yourself competing at the highest level?
At this stage, I still feel only 25. Even though I'm 40, I still feel young. My time partners and my panel all believe that I'm still hitting as hard, and if not harder and faster than when I was in my prime. So I feel great. I don't feel old at all. I don't feel like I'm slowing down. I have no injuries. So if I can just keep riding it as long as I can, I don't want to retire. This is what I was born to do. I love this job. So the longer I can do it, the better. And I want to be a role model for guys my age, to get them off the couch and get them into the gym, show them the ages and the barrier.
All right, fantastic. Now finally, John, one last question for you. Do you have any message for your fans who will tune in to watch you fight at Bellator Kickboxing 5?
Just thank you for all the support that I've had over the last few months on the social media, where people are genuinely excited for me to get onto the show. I really want to put on a great fight and not let them down, and as a way of showing them thanks for all their support.
All right, wonderful. Thank you once again, Sean, for taking the time to talk to us. We appreciate it, and all the very best for your upcoming fight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Have a good day.
Hello, and we would like to welcome Mr. Vicky Kapoor, who is the head instructor and chairman, let me get this right, of the International Ultimate Krav Maga Federation. Welcome, sir.
Hi.
Welcome on our show, the MMA
Thank
India Show, and thank you so much for taking out the time.
It's my pleasure.
We are always very happy when Indian martial artists and people associated with the martial arts are able to come and speak to us about what we are all doing about promoting
Different
martial arts. Correct. Now, first of all, do you want to tell us about? Of course, there is some of us know that Krav Maga was originated in Israel itself. Would you like to give us a little more about this?
Yeah,
because it's I would say it's one of the newest martial art forms.
Yes, and like Krav Maga was developed, name was given after the state of Israel was formed.
Yes.
And originally, Imi Lichtenfeld, who is the founder of Krav Maga, started in Hungary teaching Jewish community to protect themselves against Nazis.
Yes.
When state of Israel were formed, so Imi was part of the military regime to train the military, Israeli military, in hand-to-hand combat. So as they start evolving, so he started putting all the curriculums, and forces used to go for raids. So what they used to do is they will train few hours before the raid for specific kind of operation. And when the forces will return, Imi will ask them, how was it? Did you manage to do something? They will give their feedback. Yes, Imi, we worked, what you taught, it was excellent and we could come out in that situation. Some would say, no, I did this similar thing, but I changed So he will put the variation. So that's why they say Krav Maga is battle tested.
Yeah.
As we all know, Krav Maga does not follow any rules.
Yeah.
No rituals, nothing.
Isn't it basically to put down your opponent as soon as possible?
Yes.
That's the basic idea behind it.
Basic idea. Do anything to survive.
To survive. And to put the other guy down. That's
Yes.
how you survive.
Yes. Eliminate the threat.
Eliminate the threat.
Whether it's single or multiple.
So in that way, it's a very offensive martial art.
Both ways. What is taught in military is a very aggressive one.
Yes.
The drills, the pattern
Yeah.
that it is used. But for slowly, once it was part of the Israeli army, they thought to train the civilians. And especially they were getting a lot of stabbing attacks
Yes.
living in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So they started evolving for the civilians. So it's passive for the civilians, you can say.
Yeah.
So that's why we say it's the best self-defense system because or you can say MMA with no rules.
No rules. So because basically we can say martial arts is either a very defensive outlook or has a very offensive outlook. Like say for instance, if we're going to say defensive, then Taekwondo and Judo are both about protecting your self, putting the other person down rather than trying to injure him as such. If you look at karate though, it is about taking the fight to the other person. You know, there's a lot of kicks and punches and everything. So in that way, Krav Maga, of course, is a combination, but it is, very offensive. That's what we were saying.
It is.
Yeah, which is there's no problem with that. It has to be effective in what
because you can understand whether it's street or battlefield.
Yeah.
If you don't put the opponent down, you cannot survive.
Yeah, exactly. Now, how did you get into Krav Maga?
My background is karate, Goju-ryu.
Okay.
And then I was looking for something which is...
So how did you get into karate first?
Karate, like I am brought up in Kashmir.
Okay.
So my father was a wrestler and boxer.
Okay.
So maybe in the genes.
Yeah.
So I used to practice whatever I could find in Kashmir in those days. And as you see, Kashmir is isolated state once you are entered Srinagar. Most of the time in those days it was cut off because of the road was blocked. So no aircraft landing, no by road you could travel. So whatever little information, there was hardly any TV technology that time. Now people are lucky, they have so much to see and learn from online or something.
So did you get into the martial arts more in terms of the circumstances that were there?
No, circumstances were never like what we see now. It was very nice. There was nothing like such thing what we hear news these days. So it was pure passion or hobby came inside like genes. So whatever was possible, and at the age of I remember I think 8.5 or something, when I first somebody came in the school claiming that he's a kung fu master, and he gave the demonstration by breaking the plates and something. So as a kids, we got fascinated about that. So we started joining his classes. He taught punches similar like now we understand. It was same like karate.
Yeah.
So but he was giving name as kung fu. So we started that journey started from there.
उसने लगता है जैकी चैन की कुछ ज़्यादा ही movie देख
Maybe.
So that's how you got into karate, and then that got into Krav Maga.
From there, I got into judo.
Yeah.
For a few years, I was in judo.
Okay.
And then got into the karate through forces because they were learning in Bombay under Sensei Pravin Mistry.
Okay.
So they introduced me to Sensei Mistry.
Okay.
So I used to come here, train 6 months, 3 months, go back, practice.
Okay.
So continued like that.
Okay. So but how did you get into from there Krav Maga? Did you go abroad or did you?
Yes, I did all my courses in Israel. I keep going for my upgradation, refreshing course, learning more tactical stuff with them.
But how did Krav Maga interest you? Where did you?
As I had made a policy last 22 years that every year I have to learn something new. So in that search, I was looking and suddenly I saw some security work. And then I had Israel and then Israeli has their own martial art.
Yeah.
And then that was the first time 16 years back when I heard Krav Maga. So there was only one federation over there. So, and I could not find any. So it was International Krav Maga School that time. So I wrote to them, no response from them because they were very strict with recommendations. Without recommendation, they will never response. So through one of my friend, he was doing business with Israelis. So he put me to them and they introduced me to the organization over there. And that's how I landed up over there to learn my first course because Krav Maga has a unique pattern. They only take martial artists and they train you as a trainer.
So you have to be a martial artist already.
No, for the professional courses.
Professional courses. Okay. You
It's
to be
easier
proficient
to learn.
It's
Of course. Easier to learn.
Of course. So now, how are we? How are you rather, and the organization? So the International Ultimate Krav Maga Federation also has an India chapter then?
It is now a joint venture between Israel and India.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and we are perhaps looking collectively across the globe.
Okay. So how are you? What are you doing now to promote Krav Maga in India? Because I know I myself have Googled it a couple of times because I'm also very interested in different martial arts and I was interested in learning Krav Maga. Time is the only thing, and there are on the weekends there's a couple of different associations who do it 2-3 times, or especially on weekends they do it. So what are you doing and the organization to promote and market Krav Maga in India?
We are doing a couple of things. We are doing a lot of instructor education courses so that more educated, qualified instructors are there. The correct knowledge can be passed to the people. That is the first thing we are doing. Then a lot of road shows, a lot of demonstration, a lot of presentation, whether it's a government.
In fact, you've just come back from Nasik from doing a presentation.
Yes.
Correct.
And that was the opportunity by the local organization there of MMA, perhaps. And that's how we are moving around across India to educate people what it is all about.
So do you see a lot of interest with especially the younger kids? I think especially the younger generation is very interested in martial arts, especially parents. I would say like myself also, who sometimes don't have time. They get their kids, because my elder son, he's learning both karate and taekwondo. Taekwondo he does once a week, but he does karate also twice a week.
Okay.
So do you see a lot of interest from the younger kids?
Yes. Lot of interest, especially when it comes to disarming of the weapons.
Yeah.
And plus, second thing, their mindset, it's Israeli military.
So it
they
must
think,
be something.
Yeah, something which is. I think there is a cowboy in every human being as a child.
Not just that, लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से unfortunately ज़माना भी ऐसा हो गया है कि हर व्यक्ति को कुछ न कुछ martial art या self defense system आना ही चाहिए.
I think it should be made mandatory.
Mandatory, exactly. You know,
any form. They should make it mandatory.
Make it mandatory because I won't say especially in our country because it happens everywhere.
Yes.
But I think self-defense for not just ladies but even guys are attacked.
Yes.
And
which I always say is don't only promote women's self-defense.
Exactly.
For everyone.
Because at the end of the day, sometimes it's a guy who's protecting the.
Yes. He's walking with his lady and he can't do anything.
Yeah. So I think basic things, especially in our country, of even having to deal with 2-3 guys.
Yes.
How to put them down. If one of them has a knife, how to disarm that guy and
and disengage, distance, and how to evacuate the third party.
Now, how do we make this affordable for everybody?
We are working to now. The federation is working to understand the market, rural market.
Yeah.
So that's why we are changing in lot of costing. We got ourselves now recognized with the Sports Skill Council. That way, what happens? The people from the rural India can go apply, get the funds from the government, do our courses.
Yes.
So it's affordable for them.
Yes.
So that's why and that's where we are moving forward in that direction and reach entire India.
Because from what I've seen, Krav Maga is one of the most effective self-defense systems.
Yes.
which the ordinary man can and should learn for the day-to-day anything, where he has to protect himself. It's not necessary that he has to go into ring and do something, but in any kind of a situation, out of all the martial arts, Krav Maga seems to be the one which was also made and of course molded in that way.
Yes, like we have in Krav Maga, it's not just a term Krav Maga like karate. Krav Maga is segregated into many verticals. We have a specialized course for children. For example, a child, say 4 to 6 years old, his limbs are developing. So we are training him and drills only to strengthen his limbs and growth of his limbs and engage his focus. Because as we all know, children don't have focus. You cannot control 20 children in a class. They will run in all different directions. So we have worked with a lot of psychology in it, and it's a specialized course. And similarly for women. Now, genetically, women are not that strong compared to men. And they usually face whatever case studies we have done is 99.9% assault is by men. And we have to give them smart tool to protect themselves. We cannot have the fancy tool for them because as we know, everybody claims we are teaching self-defense. But strength against strength is not possible. You have to be smart to deflect or divert that strength and neutralize the person and escape. So this is how Krav Maga is unique. And like, for example, we are training the VIP security. Those protecting the third parties. The technique and tactics changes.
Of course.
And handling weapons under stress, keeping calm. Lot of things engage. Or even we are doing anti-carjacking. So how the person should sit calm, what he should check, what not, seat belt, somebody slips in from behind, put the knife on the throat, hijack the car, how you will disarm, come out, escape, or neutralize that person in that confined space. So that way it has a specialized, as you said, molded in a specific purpose.
Now, that is Krav Maga in every day. Now, coming back, since it's the MMA India show, coming to Krav Maga in MMA. How do you see it, and do you know of any fighters? Because Israel has a lot of MMA fighters. Recently, there was a Bellator fight card which happened in Israel. How do you see Krav Maga being used in, of course, it's very effective. You've got to put your other person down as quickly as possible. And that is the purpose of MMA as well. At least in the fight ring, in the octagon. So how do you see Krav Maga being used in MMA?
It prepares you for multiple attackers. So your reaction time is much faster. Second, it is helping you with all kind of skills, whether it's standing or on the floor. So that's an additional benefit. Third, what I see is preparing you mentally very, very high level. So as a fighter, you need that.
Of course, it's halfway. It's a mental game as well. Now the origins, now just getting back before we finish, we know you have to go also in the flight to catch. Before we finish, the origins of Krav Maga, did he take influences from any other martial arts?
Yes.
Because sometimes we can see a bit of Jiu-Jitsu in it also.
Jiu-Jitsu is a lot in that. And Muay Thai. But Krav Maga has its own principles. Attacking and defensive.
But
so on that principle, they have to.
He made a totally new. But like you said, he took some from Muay Thai. And some
even a lot of punching is from boxing.
Of course.
So till now, Krav Maga is the only system which we see is evolving. It's adapting. It can take a drill from anybody, footballers, and incorporate to help the fighters to improve. So Krav Maga is open. It's not closed, it sticks to its principles.
So is it also evolving constantly?
Yes.
Do the people back in Israel, do they incorporate new systems?
They all the time. I'll not use the word system, but they evolve the solutions, right? Like how we have evolved in India. For example, women are wearing saris. In back Israel, they don't wear.
Yeah.
So we have evolved how to protect yourself wearing a sari as a self-defense,
Okay.
or a dupattas, scarves around your neck, easy to pull you down or choke
use
you.
it as a
choke you.
You can also use
Stand.
it to choke somebody else.
Yes.
And you use as a
Strangulation or defending tool or diverting, arresting. Many things you can do. So same way back home, like India, we face. If you go to northern India, as you are yourself from north, and you see the lati, stick fighting, is very common in Punjab, Haryana belt or Rajasthan. Or you go to northeast, machete. Go down south, sekal. So different weapon. If we are learning knife defenses, it's not enough. We need to have the solution for those kind of weapons as well to protect ourselves. So that's why this system is evolving day in, day out.
Well, it sounds really interesting. It sounds scary also having to protect yourself from a machete. You know, लाठी तो फिर भी समझ में आती है. But you know, it's great, and thank you so much for promoting Krav Maga and doing so much in this field. And thank you so much for coming on the show. And we hope to, you know, someday maybe do a live workshop or something with you.
Sure.
You know, and show it to all the supporters and fans.
Sure.
Thank you so much, sir.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So firstly, Emmanuel, the first thing I wanted to ask you was, not many people know about how your professional MMA career began, with you previously talking about how your first loss changed the way you trained. So can you tell us a bit about, your journey early in your career?
So, beginning of the journey of my career.
Yes, sir.
Well, before Duke Rufus, I had to get all my own fights on my own. I had to find all my training on my own. It was very hard. It was very difficult, you know. I was doing everything on my own. I was like a stray, you know. I was going from different gyms just for fun. I didn't belong to anyone. I was just like, would go to so-and-so place to do strength and conditioning, so-and-so place for wrestling, or so-and-so place for whatever. And literally had a book, how to fight for dummies, and watched YouTube and did this and that. And I never had a full set team or anything for me and with me. So I was here at Duke Rufus Gym and Rufus Sport Resource Academy in Milwaukee. So, I mean, I had and did the best I could on my own. And ever since I had did my career, that's when it really took off as a professional. You know, after my first loss, I knew I needed to do from the beginning. But it wasn't until I wanted to go out and win when I saw on my own that I lost.
Right.
I came out with Duke anyway. And, you know, it's catapulted me to be where I'm at now. And even though I've only lost twice being under Duke close fights, but, you know, I know I'm at the right place, and I know I have everything I need to go out there and excel and be the best in the world.
Right. We're going to talk about Rufus Sport in a minute, but I also wanted to, ask you this because you wrestled in high school, but didn't stick to it for long. So, in hindsight, do you think that has helped you in getting to where you are today?
Yeah, you know, I just knew right upon graduating high school that this is what I wanted to do, this is what I wanted to be at. You know, it was never about money, fame, and any of this and that. For me, it was just what I really saw in the greatest MMA fighters to me that I saw was guys that would do anything that they could to be champions, that sacrificed and suffered and did everything that they had to go out and be the best in the world and be champions of their organization and champions of the world. So I knew that this is what I wanted to do for a living, and this is what I wanted it to be champion, not just to say, oh, hey, yeah, I'm one of the best, so I'm up at the top. I'm the champion. I'm doing whatever it takes that I need to do to get up there and get that level and go out and get that belt.
Right. Now, as you previously mentioned, your career has seen an upward turn ever since you moved to Rufus Sport. So can you tell us a little bit about how you've evolved as a fighter ever since you joined Duke Rufus Gym?
Oh, yeah, completely. Leaps and bounds everywhere. I've done everything in my,
possible physical, mental, emotional, spiritual state, that I have everything all here under one roof. And it's not just talking about training and coaching, it's talking about all the training partners and people. And now I live right across the street from the gym. So I'm here almost more than you sometimes, you know what I mean? Because I live here, I eat here, I sleep here, I coach here. This is my home, and this is what I do, and this is where I love to be at. And, you know, I'm just going to go look out and be the best, and that's what I want to be.
All right. Now, also, I know you're coming off a huge victory against Karkanyan. Now, how much of a confidence boost was it for you to dominate someone of Georgie's caliber?
It was huge, you know. Obviously, this man was supposed to fight for the title. People forget that. This
Right.
man, you know, has been at the top for a long time. This man, you know, is just incredible. You know, he's a great fighter, been champion of other organizations, and he's done so much. Now it's just like, wow, to say that I beat him, I dominated him, I overcame him, and he knows it, and the world knows it. Then, you know, you can't write a better story than that.
Right. Now, you know, we talked about Karkanyan, but now your next fight is your biggest fight, your biggest test to date, with you welcoming the former Bellator bantamweight champion to the 145-pound division. Now, do you think this could be your biggest opportunity to date to make a statement?
Oh, of course. I'm always willing to look out and make a statement. This is exactly what I do. You know, I mean, with no pressure on myself, I just got to go out and have fun. You know what I mean? Like, flow like water. That's how Bruce Lee said. You know, I just want to go out and do what I need to do. I don't care what he's good at, what he's going to do, what he thinks he's going to do. And same thing with me. You know, you put too much pressure on yourself like that and thinking so much about the fight, it's going to cause you to almost be like it's not a breakdown, but it's just going to make you not fight the way you want to fight and the way you know you can fight. When you go out there and you perform and you just have fun under the lights and do what you love to do, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now, then nothing else matters. And I know the finish will come, and I just go out, and that's what's going to make a dominating performance.
Right, because I was going to ask you that next, because Marcus is known for his dangerous submission game and is on a mission himself to make his way back to getting his hands on the title. So I was, you know, I also wanted to ask you what, you know, you thought about the stylistic matchup between you two.
I think it's a great matchup. You know, he brings a lot to the table. He's experienced. He's held the belt. He's a killer everywhere. You know what I mean? I don't care what people say about where he's just expert at it, this and that. He's good everywhere. Every fighter is good everywhere. This is another mountain I need to get over to be what I want to be. This is a giant in front of me, and I got to take this giant out. And David versus Goliath, and I got to go out and take this guy out to prove I'm the better man, I'm the best fighter, I'm the most deserving, and ready for the title.
All right. Now, also, you were supposed to fight top prospect AJ McKee last year, but had to withdraw from the fight. Now, considering it is still seen as a pivotal fight in the 145-pound division, is that someone you're looking at after your fight with Marcos?
I don't really care. You know, I'm not here to call people out. I let my fist do the talking. That's what gets me to where I'm at. That's what's gotten me to where I'm at. I let my performances, my fists, my knees, my elbows do the talking. I don't need to go out and call people out and be a trash talker and this and that. You know what I mean? Because if you're going to do that, you better be ready to back it up. So, you know, whoever. I know him and Gallagher are getting into it right now. But
Right.
whoever it be for the future, don't matter to me. I'm excited, and I'm ready to fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. I had a little incident the week before the fight that caused me to come out. 26 fights, I never had a full out of one until that one. I was heartbroken. I was devastated. I was disappointed, and almost at a loss for hope and faith. But a bigger fight came up, and now another big fight's in front of me. And later down the road, and sure enough, our paths will cross. You know, with Gallagher, with McKee, with Curran again, with Vitor, with whoever. It doesn't matter. You know, I'm ready for whatever, whenever, wherever.
All right, fantastic. Now, you know, I also wanted to ask you, because the past couple of days have been really big for Bellator MMA, because, you know, just a few hours ago, Bellator MMA announced the next, you know, the Bellator 180 card, which will be inside the Madison Square Garden, the first pay-per-view. So I also wanted to get your thoughts on, you know, the improvements or how far Bellator MMA has come around in the past couple of years.
I just want to be on the biggest card possible, obviously. I've already been on 3 of them, and now it's going to be the 4th. So, like I said, I want to be on the cards with legends. I want to be in the cards with the best in the world, the most eyes, most attention. Now it's going to be a pay-per-view. It's going to be even bigger. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. That's what excites me, what motivates me. You know what I mean? All the big fights, all the biggest opponents, and to be on the card with legends. I mean, you can't write a better story than that. I'm going to have such a great story to tell once I'm done fighting. To say, yeah, man, I fought in front of Vanderlei, or with Vanderlei, with Rampage and Shamrock, Gracie, Kimbo, yeah, all of them. You know, it's just amazing and an incredible experience and everything that this life I get to live and be where I'm at. I never want to lose this. I'm not taking it for granted. I appreciate it very much. I'm blessed to be where I'm at, and yeah, I want to be on them all.
All right. So I have one last question for you. Since you talk about, your story, when people look back at what you've been through and where you are today, your story serves as an inspiration. So, taking that into account, a lot of people are trying to climb the ranks and make a name for themselves in the sport. Considering you had to scrap and claw your way to the top as well, do you have any word of advice for the up-and-coming fighters?
Exactly that. Just never lose hope, never lose faith, no matter where you come from, what you got in front of you, what issues you're dealing with, anything. That you can do anything you set your mind to. You can turn your dreams into your reality. I came from nothing. I had nothing. I had to find my own way and make my own way, and I never lost my faith. And no matter how hard it was, working multiple jobs, sleeping in my car, having no food, having no money, not getting the fights I wanted, not getting any fights at all, losing, whatever, that let nothing stop you or stand in your way, you know what I mean? That's life. Things don't go the way we want it to. We're impatient human beings. We want what we want right now, here and now, but, we're not meant to have that, at that time. But that doesn't mean that it's gone forever, you know what I mean? That anything is attainable, anything is possible. If we persevere and endure, we can have anything that we want as long as we stay positive, stay persistent, with hard work and dedication. You can turn your dreams into your reality.
All right, outstanding. Thank you once again, Emmanuel. We appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us. And all the very best for your upcoming fight.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the interview as well, and you have a great day.
You too, sir. Take care.
All right, last call of the day. We have Akhilesh from Yahoo Sports India. Go ahead, Akhilesh.
Hello, Marcos. How are you doing?
Good.
All right. So firstly, Marcos, you were the 135-pound champion until last year. So the first thing I wanted to ask you was, why did you decide to move up a weight class now?
Porque já era para ter feito isso há uns 3 anos atrás, só que eu não escutava, achava que estava bem, não estava me prejudicando e agora foi a hora. Honestly, it's been a thought in my mind for, about 3 fights ago, because it was becoming harder and harder for me to make 135, so I just finally made the leap.
Right, so, talking about that, you already fought at the 145-pound division before, so was it natural for you to fight at 145, and when did you decide to cut down to 135, and when did you, kind of realize that it was getting hard for you to make 135?
Eu já estou achando que foi difícil o passo de categoria. Quando você percebeu que tinha que subir? Uns 3 meses atrás. Foi fácil de cortar menos peso, me sentindo melhor no treino, comendo bem. Yeah, I fought at 45 before. I mean, it was a natural, decision to make to go up better. I'm able to eat more food. I'm able to train better and not focus on cutting weight. Now I can just focus on the fight.
All right. Now you've been into martial arts since a very young age. So can you also tell us about your journey into the world of mixed martial arts?
Can you repeat that? I didn't understand. Can you please repeat that? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, you've been into martial arts since a very young age. So can you also tell us about your journey into the world of mixed martial arts?
Na idade muito nova. Pode fazer como você já sabe. A minha jornada, graças a Deus, foi das melhores. Comecei a me destacar desde os 13 anos de idade, 15, 14, 15, sempre foi das melhores. Yeah, I started really young. I was able to, compete at a very high level at a very young age. I did very well in jiu-jitsu, and that's what, turned me on to mixed martial arts. I was winning, big championships in Brazil, and I've had a great run, and I will continue to.
Alright, so talking about Jiu-Jitsu itself, you've trained under Andre Paredes of Nuva Onaya for most of your MMA career. So can you talk to us about the impact he has had on your career?
Do that tem impacto que ele teve no seu carreira. A cara dele é um cara que tem maior respeito, mas através do meu primeiro professor Mato Machado e do meu professor da Pedreira, eu tenho maior respeito por esses dois. E é um cara que, irmão, sempre me ajudou ali, sempre me apoiou, tenho maior admiração por ele. It's a guy I respect a lot. I have a lot of admiration for. My first coach, Renato Machado, introduced me to him. And, I have a lot of respect for him. He's done a lot for my career, and he's done a lot for MMA.
Okay. And, I'm not talking about your dominant victory over Joe Warren. It was followed by a tough loss against Eduardo. So, can you tell us what went through your mind after those 5 rounds with Eduardo?
Passou pra cabeça da gente, não tem dúvida. Cara, passou que, eu perdi meu cinturão ali pra ele na segunda luta, entendeu? E fiquei muito triste. Mas a bola pra frente, todos os lutadores que entram ali no cage, tá sujeito a perder. Obviously, I was very upset. I lost my belt, and I was I was sad. But anyone who fights has a chance of losing, so that's in the past. I want to look forward.
Alright, and you won your previous fight against Chelsea Davis. So, you just talked about your loss against Eduardo. So how tough was it mentally for you to bounce back after losing the title?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Sure. You won your previous fight against Davis. So how tough was it mentally to bounce back after losing the title?
Foi difícil você pegando o Davis na última. Mas foi difícil porque dar a volta por cima depois que ele sempre é difícil, né, cara? O lutador tem que ter a cabeça muito boa. Porque não são todos que dão a volta por cima, não. Tem muitos que abalam. Mas graças a Deus, isso na cabeça foi muito forte. Eu sou um cara muito experiente e dei a volta por cima. Yeah, without a doubt, it's not easy, Some guys can't bounce back off a tough loss like that after losing the belt. But, I'm a true champion. I bounced back and I proved that I belong there.
Alright, fantastic. Now you'll be fighting Emmanuel Sanchez, who recently told us that he doesn't care about anyone's reputation. Now, Emmanuel himself is coming off a dominant showing against Karakanyan. So, what do you make of your opponent and the matchup itself?
Eu acho que o oponente, como ele, cara, a luta que eu acordei. É uma luta bem cagada, é um cara bem agressivo, que anda pra frente, também anda pra frente. E vai ganhar isso então o Bellator, que vai fazer show, e o público, os fãs. É lutão. I think without a doubt, he's a very tough opponent. I think the matchmaking went very well for this fight. He likes to walk forward, so do I. I think the only people who are going to win is going to be the fans.
Alright. Now, we just talked about Eduardo as well. So anyone that knows of your history with Eduardo would want to see a trilogy fight. Is that something that interests you?
I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Dante's in the past. I don't want to think about him. He's a 135-pounder. I'm 145 now. I don't care if I fight him for the third time. It doesn't do anything for me.
Alright. Now, finally, do you have any message for the fans that will tune in to see you fight at Bellator 175?
Can't go my house because once that show. E não fecha essa luta, mas e aquele problema que vai ter lutão, vai ter que ver a lutar mesmo, vai ter show de bola. I want to just make sure that all the fans don't blink. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think don't miss it. Making my debut at featherweight, it's going to be a really good show.
Alright, outstanding. Thank you once again, Marcos, for taking the time to talk to us. We appreciate it. And all the very best for your upcoming fight.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.